Well, these days, if you want to record a special event or an occasion, it's only a matter of pulling out your smartphone and making a video. But back in 1922, creating a time capsule was one of the best ways to record a period in history. Last week in Nelson, just such a package was pulled out from the cornerstone of a church hall that had belonged to the St. Saviour's Anglican Pro-Cathedral. My next guest was there. Greg Scott is a local researcher, writer, and historian. Hello, Greg.
Good afternoon.
So can you tell me how and when this time capsule was originally placed in the church?
The church hall itself was built in 1922 on the lot behind the Anglican church. The church itself was built in 1899. Burned down in 1929 and was rebuilt. It was a full mason laying of the stone, and there was a time capsule which was placed below the stone, and that's what we retrieved.
All right, and so now it's 2011. Why did you feel the need to take the time capsule out now? Is that what the instructions said to do, or why was it removed?
We did so because we are selling the hall. Most activities today occur in recreation centers and so forth, and the hall was too big for the diminishing size of the congregation. So it was decided to sell the hall, and it's at the present time it has been sold subject to rezoning. We felt that it would only be fair to take the cornerstone, I should say the time capsule out of it, retrieve it before the sale went through.
And so what was the process like, actually removing this cornerstone and finding the time capsule?
Well, we knew that it was located below the cornerstone due to the newspaper articles of 1922. We contacted a local mason who has done work for us, including he removed the cornerstone time capsule from Central School, also in Nelson, in 2009. So he has some experiences in that. Luckily, in this case, we did not have to go in underneath or whatever. It was just a matter of taking the stone out below the cornerstone. And
okay.
In that regard, it was like two facing stones, and just taking one off.
And you were there when this stone was being removed, and so I mean, what was it like for you to see the time capsule back there once the stone was removed?
It was pretty amazing. To see it. It was snugged in there, just a small box about 4 inches wide, 8 inches long, about 6 inches high, probably tin or zinc. The top fit much like a box of cookies or whatever a tin box would.
And so who actually pulled it out?
One of the masons pulled it out, handed it to a member of the church committee, and we then proceeded to take it down to Touchstone's Nelson Museum, where it was opened with the archivist present. The previous one that we did had damage in it. Silverfish, etc. This one, the contents were pristine. We knew what was in there. We had a typewritten listing, and we also had the newspaper story of the day, which listed all the contents as well.
And what were those contents? What are those contents, I should say?
It's quite a list. A lot of it was listings of members of the church, of various organizations connected with the church, civic organizations, a lot of paraphernalia from the Masons, several newspapers, a number of pictures, some of which we haven't seen before. We've seen pictures of the particular buildings, but not that particular picture. One of the things that was very interesting to me, and one of the reasons I spurred this, was When the church is destroyed in 1929, the illuminated scroll that had all the names of those that fought in the First World War from the parish was destroyed, and there was no list. And in the time capsule, there was actually a copy, not an illuminated copy, but somebody had made a small copy of it. So that was one of the things that I was interested in.
Wow. And there, you mentioned a photo, but was there one that you found particularly interesting, more than others?
There was one of the Nelson Opera House, which I understand from one of the historians present. He had never seen that particular view.
Hmm. Does the, pardon my ignorance, but does the Nelson Opera House still exist?
No, it burned down too many, many years ago. It was an old wooden structure, burned down. I can't remember the date offhand, but 20s or 30s.
And when you're opening up a time capsule like this from so many years ago, what would this be, 89 years ago?
Yeah.
Are the documents, obviously the documents are handled with care, but I mean, is it white glove treatment, or how do you deal with these documents coming out of the box?
To be honest, we didn't use white gloves. We just took them out. There was, in the excitement, the archivist tells me, in hindsight, some of the procedures that should have been followed weren't. But the little amount that we did handle, there wouldn't have been that much oil off our fingers or whatever.
Now, this, as I mentioned, 89-year-old contents, is there anything, not that this is that important, but is there anything of any monetary value in the capsule? Not
really. I mean, some of these pictures, you could probably sell them on eBay for $30 or $40 or something like that. There were some coins of the realm, unfortunately not a 1911 Canadian silver dollar, but some coins from that era.
Now, you recently did a time capsule. How does the time capsule that you did recently differ from this one?
Reasonably the same contents.
Really?
Yeah, it seems to be that when you look at time capsules of that era, this is what they put in. If the Masons are involved, some of their stuff goes in. Listing of people involved in the various projects, pictures, newspapers, so that somebody opening it can pick up one of the newspapers and say, well, this is what happened 100 years ago, or whatever. Mm-hmm. In the case of the one in the school, it was opened for the 100th anniversary of the school. The contents were displayed, and they were put back in the time capsule along with similar stuff from 2009, and it was resealed. In this case, it will not be put back. The contents are going to be maintained at the museum.
Well, Greg, thank you very much for this.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Greg Scott is a local researcher, writer, and historian in Nelson, BC. To see the pictures of the time capsule and the contents, you can go to our website, cbc.ca/allpointswest.